Well, hello, everybody, and thanks for being a part of our Quillo Nation call here today. For our agenda, we're going to be talking through a little bit more around our culture and some specific tips around how you can engage folks, either as they sign up with Quillo or for that ongoing support and use on Quillo. So we'll be sharing some of those tips that we have there. We'll also give people an opportunity to talk about the portal, making sure that folks have an idea if there's any specific, frequently questions that I get. I'll make sure that I kind of walk through the portal and just share a little bit more about things that you just got to be aware of as a content manager or customer administrator. And then we'll talk a little bit more about what's new in terms of some of our app development, and then just a general reminder about our social media and what we're doing there. So as we move forward, we're going to, again, just give a big shout out to these agencies. These are folks that are currently using the app. We appreciate everyone who's taken the opportunity to get their users on. You know, each one of you is, again, got a different number of folks using it. But at any time that you've got tips, ideas, questions, as you all know, you can give us a call and ask questions or share any of those ideas with us. We love hearing from you and learning about what's working for your organizations. So now to kick us off, we're going to start with John, and he's going to talk a little bit about the culture, and then that will lead us into a little bit more around those tips for engagement. So John, you want to take it from here?
Thanks, Sue. It's great to be with folks today, and for those that are hearing it live, as well as those that are going to be hearing it recorded as we share this with folks around the country. One of the key things that we've learned is the importance of culture in an organization. And culture is not just what we talk about, but it's how we act every day in making our organization come to life. One of the things that we've seen is the importance of culture is determined by our own staff and how they see us. This last week, we put up a new blog on the importance of orientation. What do you want people to feel about the organization when they finish their first day with you? And we had a great idea out of Clearbrook in Illinois about how they were introducing new hires with their supervisor and building that relationship. That led us to create a new document that's available on our resources page. You'll learn more about that later. About how do you build orientation to strengthen your culture, the mission of what you're doing, the why of what you're doing. And it's important. Quillo by itself is a very powerful tool to help you strengthen and communicate your culture with your staff. It also, though, is something we have to work at. Like any powerful tool, how you use it, how you deploy it, how much energy you put into it is absolutely essential. And when we talk about culture, I was talking with an international business expert who is going to be doing some videos for Quillo, by the way, and he shared with me how important it was that he thought about how many folks are now getting on Quillo and using it with their organization to be positive and share a positive message about that. Because I had told him that we have a range of between 20 and 50% of our users are regularly on Quillo. And he said, do you realize how amazing that is? He said, if I came into an organization and showed them that 10% of their employees were talking negatively about the organization, the CEO would tell me he has a serious problem. We instead have 20% to 50% of our employees sharing positive messages and sharing that with other workers. That is an incredibly powerful tool for building your culture and changing your retention dynamics for the future. So culture is key to Quillo, and it is key to how you communicate with your folks. We're going to have lots of tools that as we begin talking about that, of how do you engage folks, how do you increase your Quillo engagement as a new user in bringing people on board, and how do you share that positive psychology with folks? Compare and contrast. Somebody that says the only time I hear from folks is when I'm in trouble, to people who get a daily positive message and their managers share that positive communication with them up and down the line. That's how Quillo is transforming people's lives and creating better relationships and better lives throughout the country. Thank you for being involved. I'm going to turn it back over to Sue now.
Great. Well, again, one of the things that we put together there you see on the screen is just using the word Quillo and identifying the different words that we think are certainly characteristic of a culture that would be uplifting and showing that understanding, being inclusive. These are type of descriptors that we want your folks to be sharing about your organization. So Quillo can help you do that. And one of the things we did is, as we got working with different organizations, one of the questions that was asked is, hey, how do we help people get started with Quillo, as well as how do we continue to encourage the use of Quillo? So we did some brainstorming as a team, and then we continue to listen to you as the customers to come up with, what are some of the key ideas and tips that people are using. So one of the things you want to think about is when you have staff getting started on Quillo to sign up is, be creative with it. As you can read here on the slide that's up, do little things where you just have a buddy system and you make sure that each person just asks the question, hey, have you seen Quillo yet? And if not, maybe they can partner up and share, here's how you get on, here's what I'm learning. Another thing is set a specific time for everybody to get on. Again, we use 10:10 because it's something unique and different. People don't think about, doing the 10 after the hour versus, on the hour. So again, be creative with it. Create an incentive, again, set a time frame when you want everybody to be on. And then if that happens, you're going to, share some sort of celebration party or whatnot. We talked about bringing a story day. Is there a way where, you can tell everybody, hey, we want to do some videotaping. Everybody bring your story so that we can continue to share those messages in the organization. So bring a story day would be another thing that you could do. We also would think about, just doing the very specific sign-up sessions. I know some of our organizations have actually gone out during the different shifts, inviting folks to come on board. We're currently working on a special flyer to help some organizations during their orientation sessions to do a specific sign-up. But find out, when are those moments that we could be out there with the individuals and get them signed up on it. Do your own little film, 60-second film fest. I know, again, we have another agency who just did that. It was their first one. Again, you may not get as many as you think, but if you continue to do things like that, more and more people will start to get used to it. They'll start to say, hey, I'm going to try this time, especially if they hear that people had fun with it and then there was some sort of recognition given. And then the last thing that we have on the list there is potty talk. And again, I don't know about you, but one of the organizations that I worked with, they posted their flyers in the restrooms. And so again, another good way that as you're, brushing your hair, looking at yourself in the mirror, or sitting down using the facilities, it's a great time to just sit there and read through, hey, here's what you need to know about Quillo. And again, we, even asked some other tips. Some organizations are having DSPs actually come into meetings and speak about what they're experiencing. That's another great way to do it. And again, always make sure that, if you are going the route of signing your leaders up first, a lot of organizations take that route. They say, hey, we're going to get our leadership up and running first. You do have to make sure that leaders are modeling it. This is, again, what we have found is the organizations where leaders are talking about it, using it, they know what the videos are about, certainly have those conversations going a lot differently than those that, hey, leadership, says, yes, we're going to use this. However, they're not necessarily on the app. So those are some great tips to use for sign up. Again, I would hope that as you're listening, you're thinking about, hey, if you haven't yet gotten your folks up and running, what are the things that you can be doing? If you do have your folks up and running, then you're in a little bit different phase where you're talking about encouraging that usage and that ongoing support that you have to give. So one of the things that we do know is you can't put Quillo out there and just let it go, right? You've got to be talking about it.
Sue, I've got a question that came in. When we talk about times to introduce Quillo, one of them that came out was a really good time is new orientation for folks, and show them examples of the videos. And we have the new hire series of 14 videos that people can see their first 14 days on the job, that folks can get exposed to people that have made this a career, that the why of what they're doing. And orientation is a great way of beginning to work on this idea of how do we introduce folks who are brand new to us to this culture, the why of what they're doing, why it's important to listen to the people you're working with and understand that they're people, not just a form or a file or someone with a behavior plan. So the idea you can introduce everything from in a staff meeting to an orientation session to just sharing with somebody, hey, look at Quillo and here's what, if you want to get involved with it. And one of the ideas that came out yesterday is that Rebecca's going to be working on is a simple little introductory card for the orientation pack for staff that helps them sign up right away and get started with Quillo. And so much of you're absolutely right. You can't just throw it out there and wait for people to find it. It's got to be energy behind it and encouragement that once they find it, people get excited about it and say, hey, did you see the one that's out?
Right.
Whatever the topic is.
Yeah.
So great.
Yeah, and so if you start to think about, what are ways that we continue to encourage that usage, let's talk a little bit about some of the things that we've heard from some of the organizations. One is just ask, make Quillo a verb, and you ask the question, hey, when do you Quillo?
Yes.
Yes.
And that's a key part, getting into a regular cycle of that. Just,
right.
Did you see this one? The other is you think about as your agency, what are the messages you want to send out? Going back to, again, what our research shows, that most people feel that their communication is largely around problems. How do we celebrate? October is Disability Employment Month.
Right.
And we have had tremendous success. More people with disabilities are working in jobs today than at any time in our history. Do we celebrate that? Too often we think about the people waiting for jobs. And so the idea, how do we share that good news with our own folks
Absolutely.
that they made a part of that? And so often our residential staff don't get the feedback about how important they are in helping people get to their job, learn their job, feel good about their job. I just saw a video coming from England. Young man celebrated 25 years working for McDonald's in England. 25 years. The average turnover in fast food is 300% a year in this country. So the idea of how do we celebrate and reinforce with folks our messaging that you are making a difference every day and contributing to the lives of others.
Absolutely. And again, there's a lot of support that goes behind someone getting to their place of employment and everything. So really, as one of our tips, shares, it's really showcasing what is happening in the community.
Absolutely. And we can't forget the people in the business office.
Right.
If people don't process payroll, or people don't get paid, or the forms don't get sent into the government to get reimbursement, everything breaks down. So that payables clerk in the finance office helps get people's jobs, helps people be successful in the community, helps gives respite to families when they need it. So it is really this team effort that everybody should feel good about. And too often, we don't have enough time, and Quillo gives you the powerful tool to make time, make things happen within your organization.
Yep, absolutely. So again, that ongoing encouraging the use of it, what we have found is anytime videos are done where people know the folks, they are more likely to watch them. So, you know, we have supported organizations in helping them get started with some of the videos that they're creating. We do have a resource out there where it just gives ideas, a template regarding, you know, the type of videos that you can create. So, you know, leverage and utilize those resources and, you know, just really kind of start to plan out what you might do. One of the organizations actually has set up a committee of folks that, you know, are responsible for thinking about and, you know, kind of their, I guess, video team out there on the street, having fun with, you know, shooting videos of what's taking place in the organization, sending those back into one of the content managers that's monitoring it, and then they upload the videos. So again, you've got to find, you know, ways to get DSPs to be the star. You've got to find ways to showcase what is taking place and celebrate the successes of your organization. So, you know, try to find the things that are happening that are just, you know, again, the extraordinary things in your organization, and take the time to, you know, flip open your phone, whether it's an Android or whether it's an iPhone. It doesn't make a difference. You can shoot a quick video and leverage and utilize that. You
just said something really important, Sue, when you talk about find the extraordinary. Because Dan Tomasulo, who's one of our contributors, talks about we act the way we think. So if we spend all our day thinking about problem cases, instead of celebrating the extraordinary things people are doing, we ignore the greatness that goes on every day. So spend 15 minutes looking for people that did something extraordinary, tell them about it, do a video about it, celebrate that within your organization. Now, the piece that we have up on the screen, this flyer, that's on our resource section if people want to download this. Can you tell them how they can find that?
Yeah, so again, we will take a look at that very specifically, but one of the things that we have changed a little bit is kind of where you find that folder, and we'll be making that transition. We used to have it on our Google, and it's still there. It's on our Google Drive, public folders. But since we do have a new link that we're going to share with you as to where you can get that, because we launched a new website, which I hope most of you heard about. And on that website, we do have now a landing page where our resources are kept. However, and it's very simple. It's basically myquillo.com/resources. And you'll be able then to get to the resource page, and that's where this particular tip sheet is located. And again, we're going to continue to add to it as we hear from people in the organizations as to what they're doing to really make sure that we're engaging folks with the ongoing use of Quillo. So with that, let me ask any questions from anybody, or Rebecca, any other tips that you'd like to share based upon your experience?
Sure. This is Rebecca here. I'd say one thing to add as folks are getting into the groove of making videos is to have fun with it and know that there are a variety of ways to make that happen. Some of the resources in that resources page that Sue just mentioned include, if you only have 5 minutes to make a video, that's great. There are ways to make a video in that amount of time. If you have a little bit more time, you know, there are different tools based on the amount of time, the type of messaging that you're getting across. So it's really an opportunity to get those creative juices flowing. And if you ever need assistance with that process or brainstorming an idea or a script, that's what Keith and I are here for. So please feel free to reach out as you go through the process of sharing that messaging and getting in touch with your own community through the method of Quillo videos.
Great. Okay. Well,
so one of the questions we get a lot is, how do I use the portal to make sure I've got people on and get the right people in and get my folks ready to go on that?
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the portal and just, again, briefly highlight some of the areas where we do get a lot of questions. So Keith is getting ready here to switch up, and we're going to go out to the portal for just a brief moment, and we'll highlight some of those key questions that we get. one of the questions that we often get is, hey, I just uploaded a group of users on the portal, and people didn't get on within those first 5 days. They have 120 hours to get signed on once you upload them, and sometimes people are busy, they don't get on, or they could be on vacation, and they haven't yet logged on. So if you are a customer administrator, what you want to do is you want to go to the reset the password here on the login screen of the portal. And when you click on that, you can see that you can copy their email address right into the section there where it asks for their email, and then click on the reset password button, and that will resend the authorization email to them so that they can get on the portal. So that is probably one of the most asked questions that I get. So you do have control of that as a customer administrator, and someone does have to log in first through that authorization email in order to set their password. After that, they can go in and reset their password if they get locked out. So that's how they get logged in there. So let's also then go to the portal itself, where we can show them the menu items and just talk briefly about some of the other key questions that we get often, and give a refresher for those who are fairly new to using the portal. So you can see here on the left-hand side is all of our menu items. On the dashboard, if you're out there looking at things, I know one of the things that it often trips people up when they first start using it is you've got to make sure that in order to receive the information on the dashboard and get that, you've got to go up and set your, whether you want to see just the Quillo and my videos, only Quillo videos, or only my videos. And if you haven't created any videos yet, then if you don't go up and change this to Quillo and my videos, you're going to see 0 for the numbers. So make sure you change that up, and then that will pull the information for you so that you can actually see the number of videos that have been viewed, as well as which videos they liked the most, and then what time of day they're actually watching the videos, as well as a little bit more with the graphs on the bottom showing when those views, how many views are being had per day, and then on the right-hand side, the number of users that you have. At the bottom, you can very specifically also take a look at who's watching which views. So now if you go back up then and you set the range in terms of the time, all of your data will change according to that time frame. So you can look at information as early as yesterday and what took place, as well as take a look at some of the other quick features we have there in terms of the last 7 days, the last 30 days, or you can do a custom range view. So make sure that you're, again, doing those settings up there so that you're getting the information based upon when you want to receive it, and whether you just want to see what's happening with the videos you've created, or whether you want to take a look at both Quillo and your videos. So that's really one of the main questions that I get around the dashboard. If we go to the other sections, and John, you were asking about, kind of the user portion. If we go to the user portion, I would say probably the biggest question here is if I've got to make an edit or a change, because once you upload the individuals on the portal, which you can do that either individually or through that CSV file if you've got a large number to upload, and most of our customers have already done that. But they ask, hey, what happens if somebody leaves the organization? What do I do? And that's where you go to the action button. That's the little pencil there on the right-hand side. You can see Keith has got that with her pointer. And what you do then is go ahead and deactivate the person using the little push button there. And then what will pop up is a drop down in which you can select why that person is leaving. Again, this is good information if you start to try to look at, hey, what's our correlation between people using Quillo? Is it helping them be retained because they've got something positive, the message is happening every day for them. So you can select why that person is left, and then click on that, and then you will have the person then get changed to being deactivated. So that is what takes place. And then the next question that gets asked is typically, hey, this person just came back. How do I reset them? And again, what you need to do is go to your deactivated area, click on it, find that person's name, make sure that as you look at their information, again, you click on that edit button, that their email address is correct. That's the most important thing because that's their identifier. And so you would take that email address, make changes if you need to, and then reset their password, activate them here on this screen, and reset their password. So those are really the two main questions that I get. For the most part, if somebody's new as a customer administrator uploading users, you know, the CSV file, sometimes there's some questions around that, but for the most part, this is probably the most I get questions around in terms of the user section. Okay. So we'll click out of that. You know, the next probably area, and again, I'm not going to walk through all of these, but for the video section, you know, we often receive questions around setting a daily focus. What happens when I set a daily focus? You know, again, what you have to do is, of course, have your library of videos, and the video section is where you see all your videos, where you upload them. You know that you can also share a video with Quillo if it's something that you feel across the nation is a great message. Rebecca will be kind of watching that. And sometimes we actually reach out to you as customers to say, hey, can we use that video? And if, again, it's something that you want to share, you can actually click on the tab there and share a video with Quillo. We do have a couple that have been shared, and we do appreciate that because we will set them as a daily focus for everybody to see. So it's pretty simple to do. Again, you select which video you would want to share with us. So you simply click on that video, and then it uploads it, and then you share it. At that point, Rebecca gets a notification letting her know, and so then she will be in touch with you, letting you know whether we're going to be moving forward with that video or not. So that's usually the question I get in that particular section. And as I was mentioning then, the daily focus is one where if you decide that you want to put a daily focus out there, your team would receive your daily focus instead of the Quillo daily focus. So that's, again, what we have found is, individuals like seeing the daily focus of their teams, people that they know. And since we've changed the screens and kind of have it set up the way we we haven't had a lot of questions around that, but basically you set your date, and then click on the button there to schedule it, to select, to find the video that you want to put on as the daily focus. Pretty simple. And then you decide if you're going to send a notification or not. So click down the drop down on that. And again, today Quillo goes by the text messaging, but you can also do email and text, or either text only or email only. So the notification again would go out at around the noon Eastern Standard Time. And if you have any questions about any of the video processes, creating videos, getting them uploaded, again, Rebecca, Kisa on our team who do that part of the process are more than happy to work with you on any of that. So, those are really kind of the key questions that I get. I just, is there anything else that you feel we need to cover?
I think that's a really good description, Sue. As you think about it, one of the things that's really easy as people to play with the portal is how intuitive it is, how easy it makes sense. And you can quickly take a video on a phone, on a camera, load it to your computer, get it out to your folks literally within an hour if you had something that you wanted to get out right away. When I was in New York City recently, they just had a golf tournament, and they had several celebrities there from the local sports team. And they were talking about how they wish they had Quillo going because they have all of these employees who will never get to meet a New York Yankee or a New York Mets baseball player. And the idea that they could have had them record a short message just to say how much they appreciate what they do every day and why they're getting involved with that organization to help them raise money would have been a great opportunity that because they didn't have that with Quillo, they could have touched all their folks with somebody that they would have recognized they never even thought knew they existed. And that becomes one of the easy ways to use the tool to share messages and just in that impromptu moment, or when the mayor stops by and records a message for you to get back out to people. It's very easy to use, and people have reported that once they've done it, it becomes just a very easy process to do.
Absolutely. So, the other thing that we have is, again, some of the resources available that, hey, maybe you're, working in the portal and, you need to know right now how to do something. Don't want to necessarily talk with anybody from our team, but we do have some resources on our YouTube channel, which allows folks the opportunity to go out there and look at the how-to videos and be able to see again, step by step exactly what is taking place with the Quillo YouTube channels. So Keisha right now is pulling up the YouTube channel, and we'll give her a second to get to that. But on basically what you do is you type in, just as she did, MyQuillo, and that will take you and pull up the big Q, and that's our login to the channel there. You take a look at our videos, and here's again a number of different ones that we have. As you scroll through, you can start to see that we have the how to do different areas of the portal. The playlist there that Keisha just clicked on is where that whole entire series is very easy to access because it outlines them all. So there are step-by-step features there to show you exactly how to use different parts of the portal, if indeed it isn't as intuitive as you initially thought it was going to be. So another great way to quickly learn the portal. If you've got a new administrator, customer administrator, or a new content manager coming on board, introduce them to this part of the YouTube channel, and you can certainly give them step-by-step instructions on how to use the portal. So that's a key resource that we have. And as I mentioned earlier, we just launched a new website at MyQuillo.com. And as part of that launch, we included a private page for current customers to access Quillo resources. The URL to access it is really the www.myquillo.com/resources. And this particular link is one that you'll want to to actually mark as one of your favorites because you'll want to go out to it. And Keisha's pulled it up here on the site right now. So this is what the page will look like when you get out there. So a little different setup than the Google Drive where we had that folder set up. So we are planning to phase that out. Again, that will be up for another couple weeks, but we do want you to start using this particular resource page, which is linked to our website. So as you scroll through that, what you're going to see as you go down through it and you roll over the different areas, you start to see a section or a button where you can download the information, as well as you can simply view. So for here, these were the tips that we talked about. If Keisha clicks on the view, you'll see how it pulls up, a little bit different format. You can read through that, and then if she clicks on the download, you'll actually get the page the way that we saw it when I was walking through that. So that's how you can get some of the resources that we have available. So when we send out this recording, we will have the link to it. So what we're asking is for everyone to please use this link, bookmark this as one of your favorites, so that you're going to this particular resource page now instead of the Google Drive. So again, if there's any questions or anything about getting into this page, please let us know. So the last thing that we're going to talk about today then is kind of what's new. And yesterday, actually, John, you sent out an email to all the customer administrators and content managers and highlighted some of the what's new items. So again, we just want to emphasize that we're continuing to take a look at how do we make the Quillo experience even better for folks. And one of those areas is doing the captions. So our videos will have captions available in English as well as Spanish. Again, that's to help those that have some of the hearing differences who prefer that Spanish translation. Again, there'll be a simple setup on your phone where you can select if you want those captions to be turned on or not. And so when that becomes available, which will happen in mid-October, we will certainly be reinforcing that through our Quillo Nation calls again and helping individuals understand what they need to do to turn on those captions if they choose to use those.
It's going to be a very easy process. They'll get a new version of the app that'll just be updated for them, and they just go into their profile, and if they want the captions in either English or Spanish, they just add those in. And we're going to have details for you of how you can do captioning for your videos and choose English, Spanish, or any other language that you feel is important for your folks. So we're excited about what it'll mean for people along the way.
Yeah, that's a great addition. Another thing that I know a lot of our customers have been asking for is this desktop version. And we're excited to be able to share that we're going to be in mid-October providing further information on how people can access that. So that's exciting for us to be able to, again, offer that opportunity. So as we enter into mid-October, it's going to be a big month for us because as we launch those two items, in addition, we've had customer administrators ask, hey, is there an easy way to download the dashboard information? That will be another additional feature that we'll have is buttons available on the dashboard where you can actually download reports. And then you can manipulate the data and do your analysis work. So we're excited to have those three items move forward here in middle October, and can't wait to hear some of the feedback as we see how those work for everybody. The last thing we just want to remind folks about is that, hey, we are out there on social media with Quillo. Make sure that you take the opportunity to like us on Facebook. We're out there on Instagram, Twitter, as well as LinkedIn. And here, I think you're going to see more of our fun side. If you haven't already, we like to put up some fun photos of what we're doing as a team, as well as provide some of the business connections. I know John's been doing a lot of travel, so we try to, keep track of what he's been doing as he goes across the nation and put that information out there for folks just to see what else is happening with our Quillo team throughout. So make sure that you get out there and again, if you're so moved, don't hesitate to share our information, like us, or follow us. We'd love to have you as part of our social media platforms. So, any other questions, comments that we need to share?
Don't have any more questions on the chat feature.
Okay.
So We appreciate everybody getting involved and have fun with Quillo. One of the things that Sue just talked about is we enjoy working hard. It's our days get really full. We enjoy when our customers call and talk to us about their experiences or what they're doing or have a question. But we also enjoy seeing how you're having fun with the videos and how those reach people. And we get back to that question of culture. If you have people sharing positive messages, sharing them with each other and talking about the impact you have every day in people's lives, you see your culture getting better and better over time. This isn't about the simple metric of for 100% of your people using the app every day. It's about how do we get better and share this positive message over time and expand the reason why you're doing this and their connection back to your organization. Thanks for being part of it. Sue, thanks for doing another great job on the webinar today.
Great. So tune in to our next user group call. That's going to be on October 18th. Again, we will send out that invite. Please let us know if you're going to join us. The time is always 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time. We love having you on. And for those who can't make it, we'll be getting the recording out so that you can, again, listen to the information at your convenience. Everybody have a great day. Thanks for joining us.